You want to know what really gets me under my skin? People calling in sick. Wow, people calling in faking sick. I mean, not calling in sick if you're really sick, but I'm talking about people faking sick because they don't want to go to school. It's like, okay, I understand that. I understand you don't want to go to work. You don't want to go to work. There's possible ways people can fake sick. This is not a guide to help you out faking sick. I'm not giving you that guide. It's just that if you guys decide, hey, I'm just going to fake sick to get out of work or get out of school, you would still have to provide them with a medical excuse, like a fake medical excuse. Like a fake medical excuse. And there's lots of other ways to fake sick. We don't need to be having all of these. Like all of these, like you're too sick to go to school. We don't need any wiki how or anything. We need to. You're here to go to school. If you're sick, you're in, and you're sick. So just take everything very seriously. I take school seriously. I take my work very seriously. And if you guys are going to be sitting there faking sick to get out of work, this is not the show for you. Don't do it. Alright? Don't do it. We don't need a lot of people just fake, like coughing up, fake coughing, fake vomiting, all that stuff. If you're sick, go to the nurse. If you're sick, stay home. Don't leave the house. So it's just basically, if you fake sick, you're just basically not going to school. That's the reason behind this. It's just you're there to go to school. That's the bottom line here. Get your kids to school. Faking sick to get out of school, parents, you need to watch. You need to make sure that he or she's not planning anything to get out of school. With all these videos of like Dom Tracy, Jack Dorn, and all the other YouTubers trying to skip class for videos. Jack got suspended for skipping and filming his in-school for skipping school and filming, and he got an in-school suspension. Next, he filmed his in-school suspension and got another day of in-school suspension for it. He skipped his in-school suspension, and now he had another couple days of in-school suspension. It's just we don't need people freaking faking sick, faking illnesses to not go to school. If you're sick, you want your parents to know, take the temperature, and if it comes back that you're sick, stay home. That's the bottom line here. You're here to go to school. You're not here to, like, if you don't want to go to school, it's your choice. Parents, you need to make sure that you monitor your kids daily, making sure that they're not playing any games. If they are faking sick, then just take away their stuff. I don't believe in spanking. I don't believe in corporal punishment. What I believe in is commando parenting. Strip everything out of the room except for a bed, a pillow, and a blanket. When you get children that just don't want to do, they have to learn that all those things are privileges and that they have to earn them a step at a time. Like, I want to be very clear about this. If you guys fake sick, you got to deal with your parents. Fake a medical excuse, then they're going to find out that you did it. We don't need people faking sick, faking illnesses to not go to school. If you don't want to go to school, that's your choice. Because I would hate to see people go to juvie for basically skipping class. And I hate to see parents go to jail. It's our next topic. It's our next topic after the break. When we come back, we're going to talk about parents who are under arrest for truancy. Should it be an issue? Should this be an issue for all parents? Or do you think it's a waste of time? Next. Every time I watch these parents getting arrested for truancy because of these sweeps, I think the police are doing a great job in tracking down parents to help them out in these times to where the parents learn to make sure you get involved in your child's lives. So with that, tonight, I'm going to share with you some news clips from over the years about all these people, all these parents getting arrested, getting fines for just basically not sending their kid to school. So let's take a look.
Your children.
And let me tell you something, I'm here. I will help you. If you guys sitting there going, I'm not going to get involved in my child's life, look, you're in violation of the educational laws. I mean, your child's in violation of the education laws. If this continues, she is truant and you are negligent. You could be arrested and sent to jail for neglecting a child or for contributing to delinquency of a minor. You may think, oh, don't you dare get involved in my child's life. I'm getting involved in your life. I'm trying to make sure you don't go down the path. I'm trying to make sure that your child doesn't go the path of juvie. Because if he continues skipping school during the time, then the biggest issue that I have, I'll be sitting here with that child in jail saying, look, you gotta get it together. You need to make sure you go to school on time. You have school officials that'll help you, and if you're having a problem with it, well, go do whatever you want. You can get it stopped, you can turn off the show, you can go find another video about this, you can do whatever you want. But somehow, some way, I'm like a dog with a bone. And that's how it's been for 5 years from this show. I'm like a dog with the bone, and I will not stop until you decide to get your foot out of your ass, sit down, look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? This stops here, this stops now. I'm going to make sure my child goes to school every day of the week. If he's sick, I will call him, let him know that he's sick with a note. If anything else happens, then I will face jail time. So, take a look.
Didn't show up to class, so the parents ended up in handcuffs. Local law enforcement hopes it sends a strong message to parents to get involved in their child's lives. Well, tonight, KCRA3's Leticia Ordaz spoke with some mothers who spent the day behind bars.
son is in a charter school program, and they still arrested me.
Tonight, this mother who would not give us her name was released after spending the entire day locked up at the Sacramento County Jail. How did you feel, though, to be arrested today?
It's degrading, it's humiliating, it's harassment.
Today, 100 officers throughout Sacramento joined forces with the district attorney's office to arrest nearly 40 parents who had warrants for not sending their children to school.
The importance is that we want to get a message to the parents that you need to send your kids to school every day and be on time every day. We want to get those kids educated so they don't fall in the cracks, they don't get in trouble with the law.
It's a message this parent got quickly. When she was released from jail this evening, she was too upset to talk. Her brother Richard, who would only give us his first name, told us the truancy sweep targeting parents was unfair and humiliating.
Oh, I'm not happy because I feel it was a waste of time. I feel that they could have spent this time going after criminals, looking for a child, not doing a truancy sweep.
See the hoods that they're wearing. Obviously, they know the school has cameras.
Vince Matrenga is the police chief for the Sacramento City Schools. He can only hope the sweep will get more students in the classroom during school hours and fewer teens destroying school property after hours.
When kids don't go to school, everyone loses.
Many parents are bailing out of jail tonight, but one mother who's been arrested before will have to stay here for 45 days. In Sacramento, Leticia Ordaz, KCRA 3 reports.
That was over 10 years ago.
Grab a workout, grab some laser tag, grab a group on it.
That was over 10 years ago, and the biggest thing ever that I have with all these parents is they want to sit there and say, I don't care. I mean, all these parents can just sit in jail and talk with the police saying, hey, I don't care. I'm trying to get my child into school. You may think it's harassment. You may think it's... You may think this is harassment. You may think it's not a big deal. You and your brother, your friends and family can just sit there and go, this is unacceptable. This is a waste of police time. But that's how it is. You need to make sure your child goes to school every day of the week. Every day. 5 days a week. If your child's sick or has doctor's appointment, you need to provide a note beforehand. Doctor's note, handwritten note, and they'll see if they'll excuse it. But let me tell you, if you decide whether you decide to just say, I'm fighting back the charges, then you're probably with these nice people right here. So take a look.
Well, Gene, their take is that it is just not fair. And if attendance does not improve, those parents who pleaded not guilty could be facing fines eventually of up to $1,000. A half dozen women went before a judge in Rochester Circuit Court Monday morning, facing consequences for the chronic truancy of children in their care.
I believe the one student who had the most was around 65 absences. And that's just for this year alone. We're not taking into account anything that happened in the previous school year.
Of 7 cases, there was 1 no-show and 2 not guilty pleas. Most of the parents or guardians charged accepted a diversion program they will enter with their kids.
With the adults, we're going to focus on consistency and parenting issues. We have a therapist coming in to speak with them. And on the children, we're going to focus on long-term consequences as well as coping mechanisms for them to help them stay in school.
One of the women who chose to fight the charge spoke with News 9. McGann Brown, who did not want to appear on camera, feels the city is taking the wrong approach.
Well, I think the police is out of line when they say that the parents don't care if their children go to school, because that's not true. I do care if my children go to school, and I try everything I can to get him to go.
Rochester drew up the new system last year after a cut in state funding left them without a local means of dealing with students who too often fail to show up for school. Headlines focused on the maximum $1,000 fine, but police say that will be saved for extreme or repeat cases. The ultimate goal is simple:
To get the kids in seats.
Now, the 2 women who pleaded not guilty will go to trial in late March. If they are found guilty, police say the first-time fine is likely to be about $250. Reporting live in the newsroom, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
And I have to agree with the police. And y'all may not agree with the police, but That's what the police do. You're sitting there saying it's a waste of time, this is unconstitutional, whatever. Listen, it's the law. Your child has to go to school every day of the week, unless they provide an excused absence. That's the law. You don't want to follow the law? Have your child be sent to homeschool, private school, waste your money, take out a loan, do whatever. But this is a crackdown for all parents to get your kids involved in school. So listen to the judge from back from 9 years ago. And you'll get
a crackdown on parents who don't send their kids to school. Right now, there are 24 arrest warrants out for parents who haven't complied. And as Elise Coulter reports, one judge says there's no excuse.
There's no way your kids should be missing school.
Melissa is a single mother of 2.
Being a single parent is hard. I gotta say, it's hard.
And despite her crazy work schedule as a nurse's aide, she manages to get her kids to school unless they're sick.
I believe in education. Free education is the best.
That's exactly what Judge Nick Kuntz from the Montgomery County Juvenile Court believes, which is why he created the Start Right program.
Truancy is a problem in every jurisdiction.
Your child is considered truant if they miss 5 consecutive days as unexcused absences or have 12 unexcused absences in the year.
Nobody can make them go to school and they're embarrassed and they get to be 13, 14, and 15. So those kids in many instances create our delinquent children and our criminals in the future.
You have several chances to make it right, but if you don't, you could end up spending the night in jail.
Sometimes we give them notice and they don't show up. And when that happens, we issue a warrant.
While you might say an arrest warrant is a little harsh for Judge Kuntz and Melissa, it's the only answer.
You need education to get so much in this world.
It saves more children. I feel like I'm saving children every day that I have one of those hearings.
Reporting in Dayton, Elise Coulter, ABC 22 News.
If parents refuse to comply, they can be charged with a misdemeanor contributing to educational neglect or failure to send their child to school.
When we come back, we're going to talk about truancy court and what you need to do to prepare for truancy court so that you don't get arrested, you don't go to jail, and your child doesn't go to juvie. Stay with us. Welcome back. So what do you do? What do you do if your child misses a lot of school days? Well, according to the school district, you got to take him to court. That means you as a parent, your child will be there, officials from the school district will be there. You have to be prepared. If you're not prepared to just be giving out your side of the story or whatever because of other issues, you don't have a case. You have to be prepared, just like in court. I mean, it's the law in every state, and in some cases, it's where in cases where your child decides not to go to school or not, then they'll decide. Then it'll be up to the courts it'll be up to the judge whether to take away to suspend your driver's license. That's the whole purpose of you going to school. That's the whole privilege. Your driver's license is a privilege. For parents, it's probably fines, suspended licenses, and juvie. I mean, I don't want to have to see kids going through juvie just because they don't want to go to school. Because they'd rather just sit home, play video games or whatever. Look, I've been there. I was a student. I went to school every day of the week. I never skipped class. I stayed in school throughout 6 to 7 hours a day. If I left early, it was because my parents signed me out. That's how it is. And if you feel the same way, if you're with me there, okay. If you're not, you're against me. Everyone's entitled to their different opinions, and listen, throughout this 5 years, I've understood that. I've understood the phrase, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Well, yes, I understand. But what I don't understand is whether or not many of these people want to sit there and go, hey, I don't care if my child goes to school or not. I don't feel like it. I mean, a lot of absence means you can go to truancy court. If it continues, I mean, parent conferences can happen. After the parent conference, and they'll decide, you know what, we're taking this to court. You'll sit in front of the judge, you'll be telling the stories, it's like true, not true, whatever, and then the judge will ask you, why are you not going to school every day? And let me tell you, this is a big issue that I've been tackling for 5 years. 5 years I've been tackling this, and still, nobody has able to get the message out to say, look. And since the pandemic, truancy has been on the rise. And in every state since the pandemic, there's plenty of people out there that. And since the pandemic, there's plenty of kids out there who have been skipping school. So with that in mind, here's Alex Jones.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Mike, play the clip, please. Local CBS, how good it is. You were late to class. You're on probation and drug tested. Go ahead and play it.
Serious problem. Yolanda? The Truancy Court is a pilot program that will last until September. It's a very serious court. Studies show juvenile delinquency often begins with kids cutting class. And the program's goal is to get kids going to class. This may not look like a courthouse.
My concern is that you go to every class every day.
And this may not look like a courtroom. But these kids are in serious trouble. Judge G. Muir is hearing 36 cases of kids cutting class.
If you lie to me, I'm going to put you under oath. If you lie to me, it's called contempt. Contempt means I can lock you up.
In this case, the judge suspects the student has more problems than skip.
We're just going to go right into this. Skip to the end.
If the court could come to us, then that way the neighborhood and the community can't say, well, it's too far.
This students, like all the others today, receive something called deferred prosecution. That means if they go to class for 60 days straight, their past problems won't go on their records.
We, the parents, what we have to do is support our kids. And any kind of way they need us.
And as for the court system, cases are funneled through quickly to prevent a backlog of paperwork.
This makes it a lot more efficient. Two, the kids are already here. And you also are trying to make a statement to the schools that this is important. Listen, it's not a game. And I mean it.
The Truancy Court pilot project will last until September. The program could expand to other schools if funding is available. And after today, students who are on probation who miss class again could face stiffer sentences, like time in a detention center or fines. Yolanda Hawkins,
I mean, that's what America's all about, sending your kids to juvie, detention center, or swipe your ID, your calculator card, tune in front of the ambulance, whatever. Well, it's the basic case here. If your child doesn't go to school, you're going to be blamed for that. You have parental rights as a parent. As a parent, if you decide to have kids, you have to take the responsibility of making sure your child is in a warm, structured, dry environment with food, clothes, education, all of that. If not, your child's truant, you are negligent. That's what the court system is. Y'all have to understand, we need to make sure that children go to school every day. And since the pandemic, it's been on the rise because kids are just out of school, wanting to help out with the parents' work and all that stuff. We don't need that. Back after this. That's all visitation. They cut me a break. Monday going to Tuesday. Remember, make sure your kids go to school every day. Otherwise, you could go to jail. Remember that. I'll see you Wednesday.